यदि
यदि
अपि
अपि
असौ
असौ
पार्श्वगतः रहः गतः तथापि तस्य अङ्घ्रियुगम् नवं नवं पदे पदे का विरमेत तत्पदात् चलापि यत् श्रीः न जहाति कर्हिचित् यद्यप्यसौ पार्श्वगतो रहोगतस् तथापि तस्याङ्घ्रियुगं नवं नवम् पदे पदे का विरमेत तत्पदात् चलापि यच्छ्रीर्न जहाति कर्हिचित् यद्यप्यसौ पार्श्वगतो रहोगतस् तथापि तस्याङ्घ्रियुगं नवं नवम् पदे पदे का विरमेत तत्पदात् चलापि यच्छ्रीर्न जहाति कर्हिचित् यदि although api certainly asau he Lord Sri Krishna parshvagatah just by the side rahah gatah exclusively alone tathapi still tasya his Anghriyugam, the feet of the Lord. Navam Navam, newer and newer. Pade Pade, in every step. Ka, who, Virameta, can be detached from. Tatpadat, from his feet. Chalapi, moving. Yat, whom. Shri, the goddess of fortune. Na, never. Jahati, quits. Karhichit, at any time. Translation of purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them? Please repeat. Although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides, as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's lotus feet. So what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them? Purport. Conditioned living beings are always after the favor of the goddess of fortune, although by nature she is moving from one place to another. In the material world, no one is permanently fortunate, however clever one may be. There have been so many big empires in different parts of the world, there have been so many powerful kings all over the world, and there have been so many fortunate men, but all of them have been liquidated gradually. This is the law of material nature. But spiritually it is different. According to the Brahma Samhita, the Lord is served very respectfully by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. They are always in a lonely place also with the Lord. But still, the association of the Lord is so inspiringly newer and newer that they cannot quit the Lord for a moment, even though they are by nature very restless and are moving about. The spiritual relation with the Lord is so enlivening and resourceful that no one can leave the company of the Lord once having taken shelter of Him. The living beings are by constitution feminine by nature. The male or enjoyer is the Lord, and all manifestations of His different potencies are feminine by nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, the living beings are designated as Para-Prakriti or the superior potency. The material elements are Apara-Prakriti or the inferior potency. Such potencies are always employed for the satisfaction of the employer or the enjoyer. The supreme enjoyer is the Lord Himself, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29. The potencies, therefore, when engaged directly in the service of the Lord, revive their natural color, and thus there is no disparity in the relation of the potent and potency. Generally, people engaged in service are always seeking some post under the government or the supreme enjoyer of the state. Since the Lord is the supreme enjoyer of everything in or outside the universe, it is happiness to be employed by Him. Once engaged in the supreme governmental service of the Lord, no living being wishes to be relieved from the engagement. The highest perfection of human life is to seek some employment under the Lord's supreme service. That will make one extremely happy. One need not seek the moving goddess of fortune without the relation of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimiraandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamaham Dadadi Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathangitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haritaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Punyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's a very nice verse in purport. Navam. So newer and newer. So the Lord is always ever fresh. Nitya Nutana. There's a nice verse by Rukmini Devi. Is it this one? 10:52:20. Srimad Bhagavatam. Brahman Krishna Kathaha Punya Madhvir Lokamalapaha Konu Trityeta Shrinvana Shrutagno Nitya Nutana. What experienced listener, O Brahmana, could ever grow satiated while listening to the pious, charming and ever-fresh topics of Lord Krishna, which cleanse away the world's contamination? So, ever-fresh. And this 4:34. Not this. What is that?
2025.
No. Navyavat. 4:30:20. Srimad Bhagavatam. Navyavadhridaye yajño brahmaitad brahmavadibhih na muhyanti na shoshanti na hrishyanti yato gataha. Navyavat, ever increasingly fresh. Always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. The all-knower, the super soul within the heart of the devotee, makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known as the Brahman position of the advocates of the Absolute Truth. In such a liberated stage, Brahma Bhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament or become unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to the Brahma Bhuta situation. So, this ever-fresh nature of Krishna is a fact, But when we are not spiritually situated, even Krishna consciousness appears stagnated. And the reason is given very nicely in this verse. 1080-42, Sandipani Muni is telling Krishna and Sudama, Tushtoham bodvijashreshthah satyah santu manorathah chandam syayatayamani bhavantviha paratracha. Tushtoham. Tushta means satisfaction, satisfied. Aham tushta means I am satisfied. Sandipani Muni is the Guru. He is saying I am satisfied. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya aprasadat nagate kuto. If Guru is satisfied, Krishna is satisfied. And if he is not, Guru is not satisfied, then there is no destination for us. I mean, we have no standing in spiritual life. So if Krishna is satisfied, then we will be knowing about him, and every time it will be fresh. So here, Tushtoham Bodh Vijashreshta Satyah Santu Manora Chandamsi Ayata Yaman. This word is very important. You know, Nitya Nutana and Navyavad, Navam Navam, new, is also mentioned in this way. Ayata Yamani. Yata Yamam is mentioned in this 1710 of Bhagavad Gita. Food in the mode of ignorance. Yata Yamam Gata Rasam. Gata Rasam, Rasam means taste, Gata Rasam means taste is gone. From where? From the food which is Yata Yamam. Food cooked 3 hours before being eaten. So, stale food. So, when the food becomes stale, it becomes tasteless. So, similarly, Yata Yamam is stale food. So, Ayata Yamani is the opposite of stale, fresh. Ayata Yamam. So, Ayata Yamani, Chandamsi means the verses or the teachings will be fresh, will never become stale. And when will that happen? Tushtoham, when the spiritual master is satisfied. That's when it is possible. Otherwise, many devotees, in the beginning, they are, very fired up, enthusiastic, and take to Krishna consciousness in great earnestness. After some time, there will be stagnation. Because daily routine, same thing, okay, it's just a routine work. It's no new inspiration. That is because one is not satisfying the Guru. It's not because Krishna consciousness is like that. No, it's not like that. So it appears like a mundane activity if we don't satisfy the Guru. And how to satisfy the Guru? Following his instructions. And primary one of them is Shravanam Kirtanam. Hearing and chanting. Now that is very simple, but not done because of our Mandabuddhi. What is that? Kali Yuga? Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrutaha. See? This is the symptom of people in Kali Yuga. Prayena Alpayusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrutaha. In this iron age of Kali, men are almost always have but short lives. First of all, short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy. Lazy means, you may say, oh, people before are lazy, they used to just do agriculture, nowadays they are working hard to bring you industrial revolution, technology. Lazy in spiritual life. When we become lazy in spiritual life, then we become very active in material life. Material inactivity is not the sign of a barbaric, primitive civilization. They say people used to be cavemen. Well, there were actually more people living in caves back then because they did not think it worth their time to construct a house because they were busy with something else, Krishna consciousness. Nowadays you don't find so many men in caves. Previously there were sages, great sages lived in caves. And Sukadeva Goswami even says this. What is that? This one. 225. Chirani kim pathinasan Chirani kim pathinasan Dishanti bhiksham. This is 14. Chirani kim pathinasanti dishanti bhiksham Naivangripa parabhrita saritopya sushyan Ruddha guha Kimachito vatinopasannan Kasmad bhajanti kavayo Dhanadur madhamdhan. You see, he is saying, are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? He is talking about material necessities that people are mad after, whereas we can actually get them without much effort. He is saying, are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? You can just pick them up and wear. Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? We work very hard for our bread and butter, food. But the trees are producing fruits, vegetables, which we can eat. So are they no more giving anything in charity anymore? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Food and water supplied by the river. Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? So all these features of nature are Krishna's way of providing the necessities. Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Now, either learned sages or even materialistic people, they work very hard and they flatter all these materialistic people to get some paltry benefits, a comfortable home, in this way. So, yes, people used to be cavemen. In fact, if you go to the next verse also, I think similar theme. That's being fixed. It means 2 to 4. The verse before this. Yeah. Satyam kshitau kim kashipoh prayasair bahau svasiddhe upabarhanai kim satyam jalau kim purudhan patrya digvalkalado satikim dukulai. When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing? So in this way he is talking about all material necessities that we can have already. Now why then we need to work hard? But we think that modern technological advancement is actually advancement, and before people used to be not so advanced. They were more advanced, that they did not waste time in these building of skyscrapers and all that. No. Many nice things are mentioned in this verse. Yatayamam, ayatayamani, fresh, navam navam. I think the other verse is of course this one. Navanavarasa. In 260, right? Yeah. Yadhavadhi mama cheta Krishna padarvinde navanavarasadhamanyudyatam rantumasi tadavadhi patanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukha vikara sushtu nishtivanam cha. Since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor. Navanavarasa. Whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. Now, this Navanavarasa, newer and newer taste, is possible sometimes in the beginning, right? After you know that person, like in the beginning, when a boy and girl meet, oh, they're very excited about meeting the other person. You see them after marriage, they don't want to see each other. They want to find time as much as alone time as possible, so that they get some break from each other. So that that excitement wanes, right? But here it is mentioned, rahogataha, parshvagato rahogatas, just by the side, exclusively alone. Like Lakshmi ji, goddess of fortune. She is always by the side of Narayan, but she never feels, Narayan, whatever. No, she feels ever new, ever fresh. This is the unique feature of the Lord. Even in the association of devotees, ever new. If we associate with devotees properly, then the same association will be ever new. But if we don't associate properly, then we will feel hackneyed. What is that? Stereotype, and lack of freshness. So the lack of freshness when we feel, that means there is a defect somewhere. Firstly, in my own sadhana, in my own Krishna consciousness, there is a defect. Because even if a place is dull spiritually, like Prabhupada went to America, you can't be inspired in that place. In the Bowery, with the drug addicts, you can't be inspired there. But Prabhupada never lost the interest. He never was non-inspired. No, he inspired them. So even if a place is dull, that's why tirthi kurvanti tirthani. He makes places holy. So that is the nature, that is the characteristic of a devotee. He makes the place ever fresh. Tirtha means an ever fresh place, which is filled with Krishna consciousness. And the same Tirtha, there is a beautiful song by Narottam Das Thakur where he says, Tirtha yatra parishram keval maner bhram. That means he says, the endeavor to go to holy places is a mental satisfaction only. Why did he say like that? So we shouldn't go to holy places? Not exactly. We should go to holy places. But what are holy places? Because if I am in the holy place, but if my mind is not Krishna conscious, then I am actually not there. Every morning we sing Tulsi Arati. Nayane heribo sada jugal rupa rasi. We are begging the Tulsi Maharani to show us real Vrindavan, where the pastimes of Radha Krishna are eternally manifest. That means even when we go to Vrindavan, we actually cannot see Vrindavan. We cannot see Vrindavan actually. We are there, yes, for our benefit. Krishna has allowed us to, take a train or a plane or a road, car, and go there. But we cannot really experience the full glory of Vrindavan when we are materially conditioned. Same with the deity. The deity is Krishna himself, but according to our Krishna consciousness, we will be able to realize the deity. There was one incident where Prabhupada was in the room and he was talking to his disciples, and the conch shell blew in the temple room. All the devotees, pay obeisances, were leaving to the temple room to take darshan. Prabhupada said, where are you going? Take darshan. What will you understand about darshan? You must hear from the pure devotee. Then you will understand what the deity is. So otherwise, what do we know? I mean, even when we take darshan, we are looking at the Lord, but we are not looking at the Lord at the same time. Because we don't even understand the spiritual significance of the deity. So, as much as we are Krishna conscious, that much it will be revealed to us. So, as much as we can always blame our external circumstances for not being inspired. There was one sannyasi, Prabhu used to tell Singapore who, Prabhupada disciple, I think everybody of you know them, Harisori Prabhu. Harisori Prabhu. He used to be a sannyasi and then he fell down after that. In the 80s he fell down. So he said once that it was the fault of Sundar Gopal Prabhu that he fell down. Why? Because he did not have a temple when he came to Singapore, and in Singapore he fell down. At that time I think Prabhu was in America. And then he was travelling. At that time, those 3 years, 82 to 85, there was no temple in Singapore. So, because the temple was not there, that's why Sundar Gopal Prabhu was called that he fell down. So, well, there was no temple in America when Prabhupada went. Of course, we are not Prabhupada, but if we strictly follow the orders of Prabhupada, wherever we go, we can inspire. It's not because of our power or something. It's because of the force of the order of the spiritual master. Tushtoham. Chandamsi ayatayaman. That freshness, that enthusiasm will be there wherever there is proper following of the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master. That is the secret to success. We should always be inspired by, devotees who follow the spiritual master, and that is association. Prabhupada said, my God brothers always gave me depression, compression and repression, something like this. That is 3 words he used. But I stuck on to the order of my spiritual master and became successful. So that is the secret. So people may give all kinds of discouragement, but by following the order of the spiritual master, we will be encouraged. At in Guruna api vicharyate, yasmin sthito na dukkhena, Guruna api vicharyate. Even in the most trying of circumstances, we will not face any tribulation. We will be happy in any situation. Here. So in the purport, conditioned living beings are always after the favor of the goddess of fortune, although by nature she is moving from one place to another. In the material world, no one is permanently fortunate, however clever one may be. Okay, so in this regard, there have been so many big empires, powerful kings, and fortunate men, but all of them have been liquidated. Very nicely, Prabhupada, liquidated gradually. So, there is this nice, very instructive verse, 5:18-22, you must be knowing already. Mat praptaye jesha surasuradayas tapyanta ugram tapa aindriye dhiyah rite bhavat pada parayanannamam vindantyaham tvadhridaya tojita. Lakshmi Devi is telling Narayan this. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. Then those who are praying to Lakshmi Devi, or those who are not also, they are becoming rich. Elon Musk did not do Lakshmi Puja. He is the richest man in the world right now. Of course, I think the Prince of Saudi is not counted and Vladimir Putin is not counted in the list. But, I don't know, I think the King of Brunei also, I don't know whether he is counted. So anyway, they are so rich, they are not worshipping Lakshmi. And those who are worshipping Lakshmi, yes, There are many who are rich among them also. So why? What is this? So this purport is very instructive. In this verse, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist becomes very opulent in the eyes of another materialist, such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra: Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Rupavati Bharyam Dehi. O worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits, but since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukha. Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan. Maya Sukha is illusory happiness. It is actually a burden. Maya Sukhaya Bharam. Bharam means burden. Udvahato Vimudhan. Materialists, they think it is happiness, but actually they are slogging like an ass to get a little bit of that. What is that? Tatala Saikate what is that? Bari Bindu Sama. Like a drop of water, if you are thirsty and parched in a desert, and then somebody comes with great promise, yes, I will give you water. Then he'll open the bottle and one drop falls on the tongue, that's all. You cannot be satisfied with that. So Maya Sukha is like that. A hope of happiness, but in the end, it's actually misery. So this Maya Sukha, now Prabhupada explains, as stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimurdhan. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Vimudhas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj achieved extraordinary material opulences, but such opulences were not Maya Sukha. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who resides in the heart of Narayana. The material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to the goddess Durga are temporary. As described in Bhagavad Gita, Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavat alpamethasam. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. 723. We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. And the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point. Although Ravana tried to abduct the goddess of fortune Sita Devi from the custody of Lord Ramachandra, he could not possibly do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not the original Sita Devi, but an expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravana and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. So, this is very instructive, right? So, Lakshmi Devi, she is always moving, Chanchala. She is also another name for Lakshmi Devi is Chanchala. Means she does not stay in one place. Who is restless? Who requires an ever new impetus for happiness? He cannot be steady. He cannot be in one place. Those in the mode of goodness, they can do the same thing routine day after day for years. Those who are not, those in the mode of passion, they are always moving about. They want something new. Otherwise, there is nothing to look forward to for them. Only then they will act if something is new. So they are not steady. So Lakshmi Devi is like that. But because she is serving Narayan, she is always serving him. That means she is finding ever new pleasure. Otherwise she would have left. Because she is Chanchala. But she does not leave. Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambhrama Sevyamanam. Sambhrama means with great attention, millions of goddesses of fortune are serving Krishna. That means how much attractive Krishna is. You can understand. Then They are always in a lonely place with the Lord, but still the association of the Lord is so inspiringly newer that they cannot quit the Lord. So this is the other thing in the purport. The living beings are by constitution feminine by nature. So we are Prakriti and the Lord is Purusha. Purusha means the enjoyer, Prakriti means the enjoyed. The male is supposed to be the enjoyer, the female is to be enjoyed by the male. We are all feminine by nature, Krishna is the only Purusha and we are to be cooperating with his enjoyment. But the reason we are in this material world is because we have taken on the role of a Purusha now. The modern transgenderism starts actually here. Has its origin in our exit from the Vaikuntha world, because we wanted to be male, although we are female. That's what transgenderism is. Yeah. The girl wants to be boy, boy wants to be girl. So it actually started here. Now we are trying to be male when we are actually female. So all the relationships that go on in the name of conjugal relationships or whatever in this material world are actually like lesbian. We are lesbians because we are Prakriti. We are trying to be together, one by trying to be the Purusha. So it doesn't. And the other thing is, even though like we are actually feminine, but we have taken on the masculine mentality. Even the woman in the material world has a masculine mentality because she wants to be the enjoyer in the relationship, and when there is a discrepancy in that, then she quits or there is argument. So both are trying to be male when both are actually female. Both want to be enjoyer when both are supposed to be enjoyed by Krishna. So it's a completely topsy-turvy situation, and therefore we are misplaced. We are, misfit. We cannot. It's a dilemma. That's why we cannot find why I'm not happy in this material world. So this is the reason. Para prakriti, apara prakriti. So you know why the material world, the matter is inferior. Matter is inferior. The spirit, the jiva is superior. Energy of the Lord. Para prakriti and apara prakriti. Because we wanted to be the male. Male is always the predominator. Female is predominated. So she is subservient to the male. But we want to be the male. So who will be the female? So he gave an energy for us to play with that is inferior to even us, so that we can play with it. It's like, to a child we give toys, kitchen toys. The girl will try to cook with toys. It's not going to work. So you can't, because she cannot handle the real fire. So we cannot handle what Krishna handles. So we are given toy version of it. So we are given inferior energy even to us, which is dead, basically. So that we can become the superior in the relationship and we can try to enjoy. That's why Dharyate Jagat. We are trying to dominate this material world. We need to be the dominant figure for us to be male. But, because Maya is Krishna's energy, Mama Maya Turatyaya, she is, insurmountable because she is very huge in quantity. And she is the Lord's personal energy. So this is the final thing, where generally people engaged in service are always seeking some post under the government. So people are proud. Oh, I work in Apple, I work in Google, I work in this, Microsoft, I work in YouTube. They're proud of their, if they're working in a reputed multinational company, or I play for the cricket team of India or the soccer team of Manchester United. So they feel proud. So, but the real topmost employer is the Lord. He is the topmost employer. So, one should be proud to be a devotee. Even devotees are not proud. They come to the temple with tilak, everything nicely done. Go out, to the market, wear something else. Some pant. Why? Sometimes even in Singapore, a devotee wears some shirt pant to go to the shopping, Mustafa shopping center. Why are you wearing? I'm going Mustafa. So, must wear shirt pant. Otherwise, they won't allow you inside Mustafa shopping center. Really? What are you talking? Why can't you wear it like a devotee? Why are you not proud of being a devotee? Why do you want to hide your devotion? It means you have no confidence in what you're doing. You're not convinced of what you're doing. Look at the Muslims. They go to China with hijab and burqa. I respect that. That's commendable. I mean, if you are standing for something, stand for it fully. Why, so indecisiveness in what you're doing. So we should be, firm and be proud of what we're doing and convince the other person that what I'm doing is right and you are wrong. So, alright, I'll stop it here. Any questions or comments on this topic? Any questions in the live stream?
Nothing. Can you just appear like that, right? Nothing.
Alright, then we'll stop it here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
An example of people living in caves can be Lomer Shamani also, right?
Okay.
No cave also.
Okay.
Oh, X, huh? X will start.